You're listening to the Monday Night Community Show with Daniel on BRFM.
We're joined with PC Gary Seamark. He's part of our regular slot we do here at BRFM with the local police force. Gary, welcome along to the show and thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Firstly, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, well, as you said, my name's Gary Seamark. I'm a police officer who recently joined sheerness as a part of the new restructure of Kent Police. I'm a local lad, born and bred on the island, so more than happy to be back here working. Just approaching my 10 years service. Before this, I was a detective for the last 6 years.
Okay.
So this is a whole new role for me. And previously to the island, I've been based at Maidstone, Sittingbourne, and out of headquarters as well.
So it's a new role for you. So what do you want to achieve and what does that role sort of cover?
As you say, for me personally, very much a new role. Having been a detective for the last 6 years, I'm now back in uniform working on a neighbourhood team. Under the new restructure, it's very different. You used to have your uniform or your non-uniform and that was it. Now you have your response, who will deal with your 999 emergency calls, and then the team such as myself on the neighbourhood who deal with it's all pretty much everything else from your neighbourhood disputes to the shopliftings to your assaults, criminal damage and just any general concerns that the members of the public will have. We also carry out our own proactive work, so if somebody was either to tell yourselves or come and tell the police directly of a particular problem in a particular area, we will go out and tackle that and take that on as our own personal teams and our own responsibilities. Part of this main aim, part of the new change, was to provide the island with not necessarily a better service but more officers on the island to deal with the demand of what we have. And under the new restructure, that's massively different. You've now got 3 sergeants, 26 PCs and 6 PCSOs who solely control the island. So a lot different to how it used to be. And we're already noticing a massive change in that certainly everywhere I've been, and when we go into the high street, people are saying, why are there so many police officers on the island? It's all part of this new restructure. People seem to think that there's something wrong, there's so many police officers here.
Right.
This is just something that is new, and this is how it is now currently run under the new neighbourhood policing model.
We are talking to PC Gary Seamark as part of our regular slot with the local police force here on the island. We're joined back with PC Gary Seamark as part of our regular slot with the local police force here on the island. Now, listeners may remember that we used to speak to Sergeant Steph Martin. You've now taken over that role with us here at BRFM. And as you mentioned in the last question, some of the structures have changed. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? Yeah,
the structures are very different. Under the old model, you would have under the neighbourhood unit, you had a police officer and a police community support officer, also known as PCSOs, that would cover, say, your area of Minster or Sheerness, and that was their responsibility. As I briefly touched on before, you've now got 3 sergeants, 26 PCs and 6 PCSOs. So what that now means is that every ward, so every area of the island, right. So Sheerness, Minster, Queenborough, Halfway, Rushington, Laysdown and Warden have got a designated team and a PCSO, so in effect each team's got 3 or 4, in some cases 5 PCs responsible for their area that you can now go to. It's very different in respect of you've now got a wide range of officers here under this new restructure. This was a big county thing that was done. Right. The whole of Kent has gone this way. It's not just what we're doing at Sheerness. You now have some officers walking the streets, driving the streets of Sheerness and the rest of the island that are ex-detectives, like myself.
Yeah.
We've got ex-response traffic drivers. We've got specialist public protection officers who specialise with vulnerable victims and adults. So now you've got, I would probably suggest, more experience based on this island than you've ever had before, as well as more officers than you've ever had before. And for me, that's the biggest change under the restructure. Numbers, experience and knowledge that these officers have now got.
Now, I understand you've got some useful advice for our listeners regarding your winter safety campaign.
Yeah, definitely. The current thing we're running with Kent Police is the Safer Winter campaign. The general advice of closing and locking all your windows and doors before you go to bed, clearly to prevent the burglaries. Obviously, we're now just past the Christmas period when this generally creeps up. However, we do still find that you do get them on the basis that Christmas has been. People more likely now to have more valuable items in their property, i.e. their Christmas presents.
Yeah.
Don't leave keys, valuable items on display anywhere near windows and doors. Close your curtains when it starts to get dark. I know that to some people may seem a bit silly. It starts to get dark now about 4:30 or 5 o'clock, and you should have to pull your blinds. If you haven't pulled your blinds or pulled your curtains and you've got your light on inside, everything lights up and they can see exactly what you've got inside your house. Dispose all your packaging carefully. Any boxes you've got, if you just leave it outside, it kind of advertises exactly what's inside your house.
And I've seen that a couple of times actually in the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, if you see somebody who's got a 50-inch plasma screen box outside on recycle day, you know what's inside that house. So cardboard, rip it up, pull it inside your bin so it's not clear to see. Light timers, put those on so that if you're going to be out for the course of the evening, the lights still come on, so it still appears as if somebody else in the property. Shed alarms. Invest in a shed alarm, a lock. You know, we start to now come up to slightly warmer times of the year. Protect your sheds before people start having a go in your back gardens. And the other thing you can do is protectively mark and register your valuable goods onto a website, which is www.immobilise.com. We also have at the police station, and we're currently arranging for more to come in, what we call smart water,
right?
Which is completely invisible to the naked eye. You can mark your property in any way that you wish to do so, and register that online as well. For example, if you're then a victim of a crime and say your laptop gets stolen, if we recover that laptop, we run a UV light and we can see exactly what's been marked on it. That way, should you be a victim of crime, that will help us to be able to return property to you if we find it.
We are talking to PC Gary Seamark here at BRFM. It's part of our regular slot that we do with the local police force here on the Isle of Sheppey. We're talking to PC Gary Seamark here at BRFM. It's part of the regular slot we do with the local police force here on the island. Now, I understand there's a new number, and I've come across it as well. Could you tell the listeners more about that?
Yeah, since we launched the new model, the new policing model, the phone number for the whole of Kent Police, for anybody you wish to get hold of now, has changed to 101. People used to have, say for Sittingbourne would call the 477055. If you wanted to call a Maidstone, it was 690. All those are no longer in use. Anytime you need to contact Kent Police, it's 101. From there you'll get directed and asked which department, which officer you need to speak to, and you'll be put straight through. So everything's now 101 for anything to do with Kent Police. Other ways that people can follow Kent Police and contact Kent Police is you can follow us on Twitter. I think this is something that has been mentioned previously.
Yeah.
And the site to be able to come on at Twitter is Twitter at Kent Police Sheer, which is SHEER. And you can go on there and follow on there. I believe the PCSOs sort of control that, and they update that regularly with what we're doing on the island every single day. And also gives a way of feedback, what members of the public see about what we're doing. Other ways people can contact us is coming to the front counter to pass the information on. Obviously go through the 101. On the website, all the phone numbers that still exist for the PCSOs that were always here under Sergeant Martin. They're all still here. So if anybody's got mobile numbers that have been given to them by officers, they will still be in place.
Yeah.
Obviously the number that's advertised is the 101. Other ways is that the new Gateway Centre that's been opened in the Sheerness High Street,
where the old Woolworths was, that one?
Yeah, the old Woolworths site in the High Street there is now called the Gateway. And every Tuesday between 9 and 1 we hold a weekly police meeting there. So again, if anybody's got any concerns, any questions, please feel free to come down and join in that meeting and ask what they need to ask. And again, I would like to just mention that website we mentioned about protecting your property, which is www.immobilise.com. And as I would say, items are very valuable, very pricey, so we need to do everything we can to make sure that should the worst come and these items are taken, that we can try and locate them. At least if we do find them, we can reunite them with their rightful owners.
Gary, I'd like to thank you very much for speaking to us here at BRFM.
Lovely, thank you, it's been a pleasure.